Now, speaking of attacking integrity, let's talk about LieTocha. Because she was over there on Nene's show, the Nene Leak show, which is episode number 2. And I was shocked. Remember, we talked about it the other day while we was live on the show. Y'all told me in the comments, it was like LieTocha did an interview with Nene. And of course, in the beginning, Nene was reading mean tweets about her. Like, people was going in and talking about her face and all this other stuff. And they also talked about, oh, here she goes. She put out one damn episode and then she ain't been around for weeks. And now she ain't come out with episode number 2. I guess she's trying to do the whole Club Shay Shay approach, which is I'm going to give y'all an episode and you got to wait a couple of weeks. But yeah, she did a LieTocha interview, and LieTocha was cute and everything in the beginning when she was talking about her little vegan diet and all this other stuff. But then she got to lying in Nene's face. And I was sitting there rolling my eyes the whole damn time, especially when it came to when she was talking about the residual challenge, and she was talking about the thing between her and her sister and how she owns the name Xscape. And then Nene brought up something or another. Well, she was like, if I really wanted to, they can't even use the thing. Sis, now you know you out here lying because you aren't the only one that own it. You co-own it with your sister Tamika. And I saw that the neighborhood talk pulled up the receipts. They was like, see, she wasn't lying. No, she was partially lying. She ain't telling the whole truth. Because, like, yes, your name is on the situation where you do own the name Xscape, but you don't own it by yourself. Because if you did own it, then her petty behind with her husband, Rocky, chirping in her ear would have been like, put a cease and desist, prevent them from, and well, cease and desist is kind of like just letting people know you can't use my name and likeness, whatever. It ain't worth the price of tea in China. But if you actually went down to the legal eagles and they drummed up something where it's like, oh no, you cannot use a situation, she can't do that because Tamika owns it. And as long as Tamika is in that group with Tiny and Candy, they can use the name Xscape. So if you was going to be up in there, sis, tell the whole truth and nothing but the truth and not the half truth. But I do have the clip, in the words of my girl Dorinda. And we're going to play that clip of Nene asking her about the residuals challenge, why she did it. She wasn't truthful in that either. And then the whole story regarding her beef with her sister. So hold on now. We're going to play that clip and then we'll come back and talk. Please hold.
Why did you decide to do the challenge?
Oh my God. Big fan of Chris Brown.
Okay.
An amazing singer. I knew a lot of the challenges that he faced, but he was able to get out of that. And I just championed him in that. And as well as the fact that when I met him, I was like, we need to do something together. And we never got a chance. And I was like, this is the opportunity. And no other woman was doing it. No other female had done the challenge. I was like, I got to do it because I love challenges like that. So I was like, I'm going to go and pour my heart out into this. And I did just that. And to be totally honest with you, they say that music reaches the heart. I was able to even reach my sister. I hadn't talked to her in a minute, but that song resonated with her and we were able to have a conversation. So that residuals challenge for me did more than just me singing.
Okay, that's great. I love that. So Candy said in an interview with Vibe magazine that you weren't kicked out of the group. What happened with you not being a part of the Xscape?
Well, when you send a letter, first of all, I did not know that they were going on tour. I talked about going on tour. This is what I wanted. Okay. They were going on tour. I had nobody to call me. Nobody emailed me. Nobody told me anything. And so when I heard about it, it was actually Coco from SAV and also Taj. It was like, we're thinking about going on tour. I was like, when? They were like, we're leaving in May. How y'all leaving in May? I know nothing about it. Nobody's talking to me. So I sent a letter from my lawyer to say, hey, ladies, if you guys are going on tour, let me know the dates. Tell me what is going on. I have no clue of anything. But I never got that. Never got a phone call. They never even responded to the lawyer. And they went on tour.
Your group mates.
My group, yes.
Yeah, the people.
My bandmates, absolutely. So no. So if somebody is calling to say what's going on, and you're not getting they're not calling you back. It's like, what's going on? And I was not able to go on tour. So they left and went on tour. So is that not, so you tell me what that is, if it's not getting kicked out.
Did you ever think that there would be a point in time where you would break away from the group that you grew up with?
Never. 30 years, sweat equity. And
these
never.
are like your sisters.
They are.
Yeah.
And to have them go on and move on without me, I think a lot of the stuff had to do with that show and the agenda that was placed on me. And I often ask people, I'm like, okay, there were 7 girls on that show. Why was I the one that was scrutinized and targeted in that way?
I think you were because of your husband.
sorry to interrupt. Isn't it annoying when ads do that?
Okay, we could pause it there. Even though a commercial came in, but I had to pull up receipts, and I was looking for that receipt while I was playing that clip because she said I think it was because of your husband, but she goes in further and stuff. If you haven't seen it, definitely check it out. But hold on, she also said, "Oh, I think I have it here. Thank God I had that open." Shout out to the neighborhood talk because she said that she was shocked that her sister participated in kicking her out of Xscape, and how she said that when her sister was pregnant. And they were trying to kick her out of the group, similar to what they did to Tracy Braxton over there when she was a part of the Braxton group. And they was like, "Oh, well, you pregnant? We can't have you part of the group." She said she defended her sister, which when I look back at that, I was like, wait a minute. First of all, y'all was good at the time. Now y'all are beefing because allegedly, Tamika said you stole her damn $30,000 because the women were supposed to get money and all this other stuff. Candy got hers, Tamika got hers, as in Tiny, and because Tiny named Tamika too. There's 2 Tamikas in the group, if y'all didn't know that. And LieTocha got hers, but then when Tamika Scott got her money, she didn't get it. Her damn low down dirty dog of a husband took that money, and they went and spent it up. So we got that clip. We gonna play what Miss Tasha had to say, then we'll come back and talk. Please hold.
That I would say would bother me the most is my sister.
Oh man.
Like that would be the most, I mean, all of them are my sister, but my blood sister,
Yes.
That is the part to me, like, have my back.
I remember when we were about to do Understanding, the song was getting ready to come out, and she had gotten pregnant.
Mm-hmm.
And I'll never forget, they were like, "Okay, we're gonna kick her out."
Mm-hmm.
That bothered me.
Yes.
I said, Marcia, and even though I knew I was like, "Tamika, we need to use," everybody was like, "We use birth control. This is our first time. The world doesn't even know Xscape yet.
Yeah.
So you're going to forfeit all of this, and I felt away, but I couldn't give up on my sister. You know what I told them? She goes, I go. Yeah. That could have been my whole career. I wouldn't have been sitting here. You wouldn't have been asking me about Xscape.
Right.
Because that's the love and the loyalty that I had.
Is she the owner of Xscape? She owns the I don't know. The name.
No, I own the name.
No, girl, let me turn my chair back around. Wait 1 second.
I own the name too.
Now, how they gonna be outside using it?
That's why everybody's like, "What are you doing? Why?"
How can they? I mean, but wait a minute now. This is a trademark name.
Yes, ma'am.
And you
can go look it up yourself. Yes.
How they get to do that?
They're not supposed to.
So if you really wanted to,
if I really wanted to,
you could really sue them or something. If
I really wanted to,
because I've always thought that Tiny owned the name for some reason.
No.
But if you really wanted to go a step further, you could.
I mean, I put my sister's name on it, so both of us at this point own it.
Oh, so she actually did say at the end, it's like, I put my sister's name on it, so both of us own it. She slipped. She kind of just like brushed over that real quick. So then I would have followed up because Nene, girl, you giving me the black equivalent of that host over there at Call Your Daddy, where y'all rely a little too much. Alex Cooper, you giving me black Alex Cooper tease with the way you interview. So the interview kind of bothered me only because, and I understand this is her second interview, so she has to kind of find her rhythm. But watching the interview, you rely way too much on them damn cards. Like, you can rely on your cards. You can use it to ask the question or glance down at it and kind of throw your own freestyle on it. You don't have to rely too much on the cards. But most of the time when it comes to interviewing, or I'll just say in general, it's about listening. So what the people say, that actually helps you continue the conversation and keep the thing going. So what I would have said was, if your sister is on the copyright in regards of who owns the name, so she's a co-owner, which means because Tamika, his name is on it, she actually has the right to use the name Xscape. So she was being truthful mostly until we got to that part, and Nene brushed over it, said that real fast, and then Nene was on at that time I don't think Nene heard it because she was on to let's get to the next question. But in regards to that whole situation, with her and the residuals thing, and why she did what she did. Remember when Tamika said that it didn't feel like it was real? Because I remember hearing something or another that they all ended up at an event. Her mother was there, and Tamika, I mean, LieTocha and her mother were there. And y'all already know from watching that reality show that they did, SWB and Xscape, how LieTocha and Tamika mother is a low down and trifling. We saw how she was acting when they was up in that house, and how the mother was automatically on LieTocha's side, and Tamika was pretty much treated like the ugly stepsister. And everybody was going in on them over that. And I think that's what it is. LieTocha like when everybody just be up her behind. Like she the favorite daughter, and Tamika is just got walking around with a damn invisible scarlet A all over her body. And Tamika went on she called into the Ricky Smiley show because, the brat was like, oh yeah, she's doing a residual challenge. She's trying to reach out to her sister. They're gonna finally make it work. Cal was all performative. And Tamika was letting her know that it was. And she was like, well, if you all about trying to make it work, like, be a woman, I would say go to her humbly, apologize, maybe write her a damn check for $30,000 because you stole it, according to Tamika. Try to make amends with your sister and keep it moving. But I always say, and I don't agree with Nene when she said, but that's blood. That's my sister. You gotta stick together. Well, hell no, you don't. Because I tell you, family will stab you up in your front and your back and on your side and all your interior organs, all the good ones too, more before your friends will. And I've seen this happen. I know because I got siblings. One I can't stand. If he got hit by a Mack truck today, I wouldn't shed a tear. And then my sister, she a flip-flopper. So I don't know, and when it comes to them Capricorns, if y'all not, I need somebody to show me who you are. If you an asshole, be an asshole around me all the time. Don't be nice to me today. And then 2 hours later, you in a different, I don't like them people with the bipolar emotions. I like for you to show me who you are so that way I know who I'm fucking with. That's how I roll. And it's probably because I'm a Virgo. Us earth signs, we just all about like, I need to see who you really are. Don't bullshit me. Don't play in my face. Because I need to know who I'm dealing with so I know who to stay away from. I don't like them people that's nice one day and then 5 minutes later you a whole different personality. I'm like, oh no, who this woman standing next to me? Because you ain't the person I was just interacting with and cussing the fuck out like 5 minutes ago. So yeah, she went over on. So we're going to play that clip for y'all if y'all need a memory refresher. And then we'll come back and talk. Please, because I come receipt heavy today. Please hold.
Good.
So tell me what your reaction is to this, because I called you. I was happy. I was like, everything finna be worked out. And you said,
you know what? My sister's voice is undeniable. You know what I always said that she was my favorite singer. She's going to always be my favorite singer. She definitely ate vocally.
Yes.
But in real life, I think it's a genius marketing strategy for her new music. It really is. We haven't, talked. She hasn't called me. My number's the same. The address the same. So if this is real, sis, pull up. I'm cooking now. Pull up. Let's do breakfast. Because the last time I saw her at a family function, I was on the dance floor jamming. Her and my mom walked in, and when they saw me, they walked out. And that kind of hurt me a little bit because I felt like that was the proper. I feel like, we around family. Time. And if any type of reconciliation, I felt like if she probably walked up to me, I probably would have just fell in her arms crying. But I'm good.
Tell me what your reaction is.
All right, so there's that. So it's like, yeah, she up in here telling tales. And I'm sure that after that, I definitely want to hear from Tamika and Candy. Because after this interview, I know they probably got a lot to say about this. But this is going to be an ongoing back and forth situation. They're going to be calling out her lies. But I do have Candy calling Miss LieTocha out on her lies. And this was from 6 weeks ago when she did an interview. I think she was promoting, I don't remember what she was promoting. She might have been promoting that, I think she was doing it for Vibe magazine. She might have been promoting Othello or something, which people are talking about is overpriced and dull. But look, it's making money because them seats, I heard the first 6 rows is $1,000. So if you got $1,000, y'all can go see Denzel and, Jake Gyllenhaal recite Shakespeare on Broadway. So yeah, I got this clip of Candy basically debunking, and this was 6 weeks ago, talking about how Miss Mama's out here telling people she was kicked out of the group. She said, I don't know where she got that from. Who said that? In the words of Candy. Please hold. Oh wait, hold on. I ain't put the.
That was a little controversial. Can we expect an Xscape reunion anytime soon?
I think she said it best in her. I think she addressed the issues with her personal life, her issues with her family, and then us. She mentioned us a little bit. I feel like fix what's happening in the family, and then it could be a talk about what's going on with us. Because realistically, I thought it was a little untruth talking about you got kicked out. When you get kicked out, I don't know about that. I don't that didn't necessarily, that wasn't true. But I do think there was some issues that, some decisions on her part that made it to where, we ain't doing it, you know what I mean? So, yeah, it's kind of.
All right, so y'all pretty much got the gist in regards of that. But here's what I'll say on this whole situation. Nene, I know it's like your second interview that you had with a celebrity. I know it's going to take you some time to find your groove. I'm not going to go too hard on you, but I do feel like you was relying on them cards a little too much, and you need to like listen and then know how to like take from what the people say and really expand on what they're saying, so that way it feels like a real flow of a conversation. But I know also some of these people, and this is why I don't like doing interviews with people, like when they say, oh, you need to interview the celebrity, that celebrity. I need somebody that's going to be real and not worrying about, because a lot of the interview podcasts and stuff, a lot of the interviews are getting real stale. It's like, if I want to interview you, if we're going to have a conversation, let's really sit down, dig deep, and have a conversation. I don't want to sit up here and be like, well, I can't answer this question because I want to, yeah, it's going to help the ratings for my channel, but also, and it's definitely going to help the artists too. But if we're going to have a real conversation, I want to have a real, genuine conversation with people and not feel like that I'm being forced to ask certain questions. Kind of like, okay, and if I interview Katy Perry, we need to get down deep into why 143 was what it was, or why was it that she felt that she didn't believe Dr. Luke, or why did she go and work with Dr. Luke after all these allegations about him and all this other stuff. Not that mess that Miss Alex Cooper went and asked her over there, or Zane Lowe or whatever that, all them people over there was asking them little half-ass questions and they really getting no answers. Because I guess if you go and ask the real questions, then her team gonna be like, oh, we ain't gonna interview him no more, or we're not gonna allow you to release the episode. And so I don't want to have to deal with all that. Like, if I'm gonna interview people, I need somebody that's gonna be able to keep it real. But in addition to that, LieTocha up in there with all them damn lies. I just felt like she didn't take accountability for her actions in regarding to why, she isn't in good standing with her sister. It was like the $30,000 that wasn't brought up. She's still denying the allegations. The Xscape situation, saying that she owned the rights to the name and everything. She did say at the end that she put her sister on it, which basically confirms that she is a co-owner. Therefore, Tamika's name is on the situation. Tamika can use it as long as she's a part of Xscape. So there's that. And I do feel like the questions were a little too softball for my taste. I also felt like I didn't really learn anything from the interview. Like, I feel like every time LieTocha come out here, the people continue to go in and let have on her. They're not believing her. She's looking more like a liar. People are dragging her in the comments. And I'm going to read some of the comments in a second after I go through my overall feelings on the situation. So that way you can get that the people are not really feeling what she's out here saying. Actually, let me read some of them now. One person said, y'all already know Candy coming with the receipts. Another person said, girl, your husband was literally stealing money from the group. He's another, common denominator in all this mess, too. Another person said, LieTocha, please, where are Tamika's residuals? Another person said, Candy's setting up, speak on it right about. Yeah, she better speak on it. Another one says, she just don't stop. Like, girl, nobody kicked you out. You thought you was bigger than the program and tried to go solo. It flopped. Hang it up. Another person posted the gif of Candy on an episode of the Housewives reunion, which going, the lies, the lies, the lies. That will forever be iconic. They said, another person said, so she wasn't really sorry. She needed them streams. And that's what it was too. It's like, you know what? We're going to have to change her name. We're just going to have to call her LieTocha. So I'm not even calling her LieTocha anymore. I'm going to start calling her LieTocha Scott, because everything that come out her damn mouth is a good old lie. And I'm just sitting there like, yeah, I just feel like you didn't take no accountability for the things that you've done. You did think that you was the Beyonce of Xscape. And yes, you are immensely talented. Your voice, excellent. You can sing the house down. And I wish you was still a part of the group. But when you got a husband that was hyping you up and having you walking around with a damn glam squad, which I don't know why, when you ain't really out here saying nothing. So y'all just burning through money, wasting away money. You had a little tour bus. What happened to that? You was up in here trying to act like you was the Beyonce of the group, purposely showing up to events with a different outfit on, saying, "Oh, they wasn't letting me know things." I don't believe that for 1 second, because them women are always in contact with you. But you, with the diva antics and the diva behavior, this is why people are turned off by your stuff, and this is why your career is where it is. And were we all in the Twilight Zone, just imagining the stuff that we were seeing, the way you was behaving when you was on the reality show R&B Divas and SWB Xscape, when you was acting like your shit didn't stink? We was all imagining that the diva antics and the attitude and the way it ain't stealing, the stuff that your dumbass husband was doing in the confessionals. Y'all was really showing y'all behind in that. So now one thing, so I'll say this. She was thinking that she was more like the Beyonce of the group, but child, LieTocha come off more like Dawn Robinson. So I also don't agree with Nene when she stated that they are, that they're sisters and they should stick with each other regardless of the circumstances. I feel like I already went into that. And y'all know how I feel about when you don't have the best siblings, whatever the case is. I always feel like, in my opinion, to protect your peace, you should not have to endure the emotional abuse and passive aggressiveness or whatever the case is that come from people, regardless if they a significant other, if they're your blood or whatever. I'm protecting my peace. I'm at a particular age where it's just like, no, I'm not going to allow you to yuck my yum. So if I need to, I'm going to cut your ass out of my life to protect my peace. And to me, I feel like, you know what? The best thing Tamika did at this point, because they said not only did she cut off LieTocha, but she cut off the whole family. I said, well, if you got to kill the cancer with the chemo. And she is the chemotherapy, and she's killing off the cancer, starting with LieTocha, her mother, and anybody else attached to that situation. Because it's like, yeah, y'all are toxic. I don't want y'all in my life. You are a cancer on my well-being. So be gone. Poof. So LieTocha, pay Tamika her money. Humbly come to her and apologize for your participation in the mess. And if all things go well, will you genuinely come to your sister as humbly as a woman and just lay it on the line? Then you can go and speak to the other members of Xscape and consider wanting to come back. But you need to leave that husband on the side and leave him out of your mess, because he is your Achilles heel. He is fucking up your bag, quiet as it's kept. But at the end of the day, you know what? That's wishful thinking, because I just don't feel that LieTocha would be woman enough to step out of her own ego, detach herself from under that man's control, and humbly come to her sister as a woman and want to change, be the change. So I don't think she'll make it work with them. So I guess the only way is that she'll just have to keep going on whoever show, podcast, whatever you want to have her, and continue to go up there and spread her damn lies. Because look, she thought she was Beyonce, but nobody cared about that solo album. You didn't get to have your Dangerously in Love. You had yourself a good old flop on the gospel charts. So I say all this to say, what do you guys think of this story in regards to LieTocha going over there on Nene's show to spread a bunch of bold-faced lies? So whatever your thoughts are, let me know in the comments down below.